Connecticut, you need to listen carefully because what's happening here is criminal. On my document reader right here is a recent thing I just got in the mail. It's from the federal court this time, okay? So I filed 350 cases so far. Many of them got transferred to the federal court when I sued the SEC, FINRA, the state's attorney, the attorney general, and in this case I sued NFS, which is a clearing firm, which requires arbitration by federal FEs, by, FINRA, NASDAQ, and what happened here is while I was complaining about Bernie Madoff and the hedge fund activities, NFS robbed me. The defendant in this case is Richard Colangelo, who was fired by the governor for taking a bribe in a murder. Okay? The case is FSTCV 20. Okay, Stephen Barrier was tasered to death. Sean Bogger covered it up with the state's attorney, and a $30 million bribe was paid to cover up the whole damn thing. The mom got $7 million, and the father's $7 million got stolen by the attorneys, and they bribed Colangelo. You can look into it. I have all the facts. I'm not worried about it. But on the screen here, I asked the district court, federal court, NFS, to attach this case to the money laundering cases that we have. There's quite a few. Now, listen to me carefully. I filed all these cases in Stamford Superior Court. They were stayed pending arbitration at NASDAQ. Bernie Madoff was chairman of NASDAQ. Bernie Madoff stayed all the arbitration. So Underhill, right here, this criminal, he's a judge in Connecticut. Underhill, listen carefully, denied the motion. Ready? So we have 30 complaints about attorneys that claim to be my attorney that I don't know. Okay? Cashing stolen checks. 1,239 cash stolen checks. We want our shares of stock at our brokerage firm, which are perpetual. Now we're missing 1 million shares of Select Therapeutics, 250,000 shares of Alteryx, 250,000 shares of Paladin Labs. Now, Paladin Labs was bought out at 150. Okay? That's 37 million right there. Okay? So what's going on is these people, and look at the signature. Look at the signature. Stephen Underhill was aware that Bernie Madoff was robbing Connecticut residents. Keep in mind, every single account we have was stolen. Every single bank account was stolen. Every single bank account in Darien was stolen. Every single time I went to the bank to get my own financial records, which I am required to have since I own the firm, those are on my securities licenses. Listen up, Connecticut. 6 NASDAQ trading stations, workstations, were stolen. 1 was sent to Wilton, Connecticut. The person who operated that stolen NASDAQ workstation, tied to my bank account, executed thousands and thousands of trades. More trades were executed in Norwalk, Stamford, Wilton, and there was a brokerage firm opened in East Haven where a murderer, hitman, was hired to kill someone. It's important. We have 3 lawsuits just for that hit and run. When you look at the facts, they are disturbing, folks, because this judge, Underhill, knows that A, every Stamford case was stayed pending arbitration. Every arbitration was stayed. Therefore, there is no due process, no justice, and this judge, Underhill, knew he was protecting Bernie Madoff since day one, unless he didn't read the complaints, because there's one complaint to the State Banking Commission that is 125 pages long, not including exhibits. That's just a complaint, okay? Wire fraud, accounting fraud, securities fraud, extortion, money laundering, every kind of check fraud, subordinated loan fraud, and mortgage fraud, all in the same cases. The checks that were cashed that were stolen were mortgage checks. Those houses were stolen through the foreclosure market. And the judges own the mortgage mills in Connecticut, collecting those properties, folks. Underhill knows it. Underhill knows the judges' pensions are tied to the Cazenovia Creeks, the M-Tags, the Judah Epsteins, the Judge Spaders of Connecticut. There are mortgage mills with thousands and thousands of foreclosures based on EMAP fraud, title fraud, fictitious loan fraud, fictitious notaries, fictitious everything you can imagine. They are run by Tierney in Norwalk. They are run by Spader in New Haven. Spader was a judge in Bridgeport. He got caught. So, instead of taking him off the bench, they put him in Norwalk till he got caught. When he got caught again, he got sent to New Haven. He's robbing many people. There is a case right now that you need to learn about. It's the Heather Lindsay case. She had her property stolen by Dr. Ahuja, Oxy Pill Mill doctor, who claimed he bought Judge White. What happened? Ahuja's brother was caught with $18 million in cash in his trunk, bribing police officers from New York to Texas. Now, $18 million goes a long way. That's OxyContin profits from Purdue Pharma that these doctors... Now, keep in mind, Heather Lindsay, who had her property stolen, woke up getting gang raped after being drugged by the Ahuja's brothers. And now the nephew is in Superior Court defending a protective order by Chris Kelly. Chris Kelly is claiming that he was raped by Dr. Ahuja too. 9 people have come forward claiming they were sexually assaulted by a pill mill doctor protected by the Darien Police Department. Now, on the screen, this document that I showed you is very important because the brokerage accounts in Darien were stolen in this case. How many? 8 accounts? 8 bank accounts tied to this case are being criminally blocked from court by Underhill, who, keep in mind, I filed 30 complaints with the state bar. None of them had a hearing. I filed 60 complaints with the judicial review. No answer. The OIG, no answer. Inspector General. Now we have motions and actions in the federal court tied to 5G, which is gang stalking, MK Ultra, Yale biometric chipping, vaccine mandates with nanotechnology, graphene oxide in the snow and rain. They are coming at us from every angle. And the only way we can protect ourselves now, since the Stanford Superior Court is so corrupt, is to go to the federal court. And this is the first case in the federal court which is compromised. the NFS case. There are many. The computer shares case is gigantic. Computer shares brought NASDAQ public. I was a NASDAQ member. I bought the private placement. I bought the IPO. Then I bought the second tier of the private placement. Now, what's going on here is my shares of NASDAQ are publicly traded. They were stolen by Bank of America, and Congressman Jim Himes is covering it up. Bank of America is Jim Himes' largest donor. What I'm saying is, Jim Himes, his office is next to Swiss Bank that bought Dominion for China. Dominion is GEMS. Dominion is LHS. Dominion is CIER, funded by the Zuckerbergs. Okay? The Zuckerbergs gave $80 million to CEIR. Connecticut hacked those states. It's all connected through the federal court. Okay? Where are we going with this? We have about 30 capias writs against judges in the Stanford Superior Court. Guess who's going to get one in the federal court? Well, guess who blocked every possible means of judicial civil rights? Keep in mind, as a final comment, pro se litigators, which I am, are hated in the state of Connecticut. Justice Chase Rogers made videos saying don't allow pro se litigators any evidence. Well, hold on. In 350 cases that I filed, I've never gotten a deposition, never gotten a subpoena fulfilled. Never. That includes 911 calls of murderers, folks. Murderers killing people. Can't play them in court, Mr. Flynn. Oh no, we're not admitting that into evidence. Judge Heller, Judge Jacobs, Judge Provater. Keep in mind, Judge Provater was counsel to the city of Stamford when Malloy was mayor of Stamford. When Malloy became governor of Connecticut, he made Provater a judge. Judge Provater is covering up hits by hitmen. Hits by hitmen. I can prove it. I have the 31 911 calls I seek. When the retired records lady of East Haven moved away, I got a package and an apology, and they tried to kill me, and they did not succeed. So here we go. Mr. Underhill is involved, and Mr. Underhill is going to get a capias writ for the criminal act that he just did. Denying my rights, blocking me in Stanford Superior Court, and arbitration in money laundering. And it's huge. This case is enormous. It might be the biggest fraud case in American history. I'm not kidding. It deals with the IPO of NASDAQ, folks. I bought the shares. I've never received them. They're sitting in Jim Himes' Bank of America bank account. Have a great day.